So, what's the best comic book movie? If you answered Logan, The Dark Knight, or Winter Soldier,
Wrong.
because what you're really asking is what's the best superhero movie? And that is why today I'm reviewing one of my favorite hidden gems, American Splendor. American Splendor is the best comic book movie you've never heard of. It's not the Batman, Infinity War, or Blade. No. It's the story of real-life indie comic creator Harvey P. Carr from Cleveland, Ohio, and his hilariously melancholy comic series, American Splendor. Now, if you're not familiar with Harvey P. Carr or his comics, they're a series of indie comics based on his actual experiences. One-shot comics and short stories that highlight his melancholy humor navigating everyday life and frustrations. The film embraces Harvey P. Carr's working-class, real-life adult Charlie Brown personality as its production design. The jazz soundtrack reflects Harvey's vinyl collecting. Characters do frustrating things to make you actually feel Harvey's frustration as he watches his life pass him by.
This guy here, he's our man. All grown up and going nowhere. Although he's a pretty scholarly cat, he never got much of a formal education. For the most part, he's lived in shit neighborhoods, held shit jobs, and is now knee-deep into a disastrous second marriage. So if you're the kind of person looking for romance or escapism or some fantasy figure to save the day, guess what? You got the wrong movie.
That's great.
Okay, so now you got 4 pigs. You ought to be able to patch one together from there, right? Let's go to the next one.
I would go so far as to compare the book-to-film adaptation of American Splendor as similar to Fight Club. Not tone or style, but the movie doesn't simply adapt one of the comics, but adapts the book by capturing the spirit of those books to make the film creative. There's fourth wall breaking segments that feel kind of like a documentary where we see the actors and the real life person together, and there's sections where Harvey's thoughts are expressed through animated versions of himself based on drawings from actual comics.
Listen, Girlie, these glasses are 6 for $2 because I couldn't carry 12. So today I'm buying 6 more, but you should only charge me $1.50 for them.
Is this all a working stiff like you can expect? You gonna suffer in silence for the rest of your life, or you gonna make a mark, huh? Huh?
Don't even have to open the cash register, even change and do.
Now, not that the movie doesn't take its liberties for dramatic effect here and there, but it's basically the telling of Harvey's early career through illness to retirement. An intriguing theme that the film highlights is this idea that not everyone is built for fame. The film just shows that once he made a name for himself, he became very uncomfortable. Fan culture can be a challenging thing, especially when fans don't know how to separate the creator from the creation. For example, Harvey P. Carr was used as a regular on the David Letterman show because their opposing banter boosted ratings for NBC. If you've never seen the footage, Letterman would basically bait Harvey into discussing topics that he knew were sore spots for him. P. Carr would sometimes kind of lose his top and then become the butt of the joke for the audience's sake.
You know, it wouldn't have meant anything to you because
No,
you don't.
I sell out like that.
Well, yeah, no, not so much that, but you don't read much, and so some of the stuff don't, mean anything to you. But
That's right, I don't read much.
that's
You're right, Harvey.
Yeah, we both
That's right.
know that,
Yeah.
David.
Yeah.
Don't give me no crap.
This is the guy
Anyway,
writing comic books telling me I don't read much.
Look, man, I want to just tell you this. You're always making these little cute remarks about GE, but there's a reason that, people should be, watching GE real close. Yeah, yes. Number one, They're being sued in Ohio because they sold these nuclear reactors around the country.
Harvey, this is very bad manners.
I don't care, man.
This is very, very inappropriate.
Number 2,
do I come to where you're
I don't
working
care.
and badmouth the Veterans Administration?
You could if you wanted to. GE's got a place called Kidder Peabody that they own, a Wall Street firm that they just had to pay $25 million fine on.
See if Jack Hanna is back there with some snakes. Bring out a handful of snakes for Harvey.
They got a long history of antitrust violations.
But again, Harvey, let me just interrupt here because...
up.
No.
Now, the film and its sense of humor, it's not going to be for everybody. But when you're laughing at the way that Paul Giamatti's performance makes the smallest little everyday thing look like such a struggle. His attitude, circumstances, interactions, expressions of loneliness, and his blunt honesty.
Hey, are you Joyce?
Hey, Harvey.
Hey.
So we finally meet in person.
Hey. Look, before we get started with any of this, you might as well know right off the bat I had a vasectomy.
Like I said, he was a real-life, middle-aged, working-class Charlie Brown. He's angry, he's crabby, he's constantly complaining, and that may turn you off if that's not your sense of humor. It's also good that Paul Giamatti is playing a character and not just doing like an Oscar bait impersonation. Many of the supporting characters remember the line? Many of the supporting characters stand out as a strong point in the film, cementing Harvey's crazy world as he interacts with them. A highlight of these is Judah Friedlander of 30 Rock fame as Toby Radloff, self-professed genuine nerd from Cleveland, Ohio. After being associated with Harvey Pekar, Toby Radloff snatched up his 15 minutes of fame on MTV. And just when you think his performance is ridiculous, you realize as an actor, he completely vanishes because they introduce you to the real-life Toby Radloff.
Hi, Harvey. Do you want these gourmet jelly beans? I gave up sweets for Lent.
Yeah, sure, I'll take them.
I recommend the pina coladas. They're excellent and very authentic tasting.
It's watermelon. That's nuts. Pretty good, Tobe.
Wait till you try the pina coladas.
Cut. That was great, guys. The bakery scene's next.
The bakery scene's next. I don't know. Bakery scene. Did you ever hear of a bakery scene? The bakery scene's next.
Bakery's my scene, but not in that way.
Forget the bakery. Let's eat some jelly beans.
Yeah. I think one might be lime, one might be like mint.
Well, what's the difference between this and this?
One's cherry, one's cinnamon.
You could tell that by just looking at them?
Not me, I have to put it in my mouth first. Loneliness can feel so bad. There had been times I felt lonely because a lot of times it was just me and my grandmother. And I'd just be sitting in my room all day watching television or reading books. That was before I bought a computer, of course.
Transitioning into Some of That Bad. Yeah, the film does feel a little dated with its early 2000s indie film, low-budget aesthetic. But considering this was half a decade before the MCU made it a thing, I can let it slide. And as much as I like what he does, the direction Paul Giamatti is given portrays Harvey in a laughing at him way rather than the way the comics will have you laughing with him. He was not adorkable or bumbling in any kind of way. He was a very well-read, intelligent guy, though his bitterness and his angst may have clouded that in the public eye. The real Picard just had an edge to him. Something a little more working class, streetwise, maybe even a little punk rock, willing to rant publicly against corporate greed and politics. There was a big challenge to adapting American Splendor. Introduce a lesser-known figure who can be hard to love and make a story about his bitter life entertaining. And the film also finds a way to make that work with what little it has, and I appreciate that despite the early 2000s indie film that comes off a little dated. It has plenty of heartwarming scenes as Harvey deals with loneliness, marriage, illness, and adoption. The film is paced well and never overstays its welcome. In some ways, it would have been nice to have it a little bit longer. A beloved movie to me, and maybe reminding people of this underrated film will bring attention to indie comics, or at least Harvey Picard's work. And that's it. That's my review of American Splendor. You've been watching Bootleg Theater. The channel is Phil for Real, and I hope to see you next time with another hidden gem or so bad it's good movie review.